So hey everybody, it's Valerie with JS Hobbies and Crafts, and welcome to my first gatefold I've ever made, and I really was excited to make one, so Shellie let me do it. And this is using Graphic 45's Penny's paper dolls, and it is packed full of fun. And I want you to know up front that there are several ways that you can do things, but this is an 8.5 by 6.5 album, just like we always do, except for it's got a gatefold. On the front, this is Penny and Dad and Mom and Emily and Big Brother. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Oh, we'll find out inside. Billy. This is one of the chipboards that came out of the chipboard package, and then with some beautiful butterflies, tea stained butterflies. We have one of our little Tim Holtz ornate plates, and then another chipboard, and I kept it pretty simple on the outside because it is definitely not simple on the inside. We have these new wonderful latch hooks that I used, and then a little bit of our 3/4 inch lace. So let's get inside. Open up. So it will fold back like this. On the left hand side, this is Penny, and then I'm going to show you how Penny is working as a paper doll. And on this side, we have a nice generous pocket. Now, you have to be careful when you make gatefolds because you can't put a lot of embellishments because they get caught when the pages go back and forth. So as you can see, I used some of the ephemera cards and blacked everything, put it on black. And I liked using our little sticker collection. So we have plenty of mats here. And we have a cute little pocket for a card, little card to put stuff on. This is Penny, and this is Penny's closet. So Penny's closet opens up, and Penny's clothes are on magnets and hangers. So you can take Penny's clothes, come back over here to Penny, and you can actually put Penny's clothes on her. So, and if you take the hangers off, it's the same thing. I just like the little hangers because they actually worked beautifully. And then you come back over here, and here's another outfit of Penny's, and here's another outfit of Penny's. So you can just keep coming back and forth. And then in here are the hats, and I made this magnetic as well, so you can just take these little hats and you can place them on Penny's head. Now there's nothing behind Penny's head, so it's loose. So this way you can open up your little hats and actually place them right on Penny's little head. Okay? There. So Penny can be dressed, or she can be in her little slip, whatever you want, and then all of her little hats go back inside. She has 5 or 6 hats, I think, and 5 or 6 outfits. So you put them all back inside your little envelope, and your little envelope just sticks right there. And then I put a couple of Penny's outfits in here, and they will stick together because there's magnets. Now if you choose not to use magnets on this part, later on I show you some different ways to use the paper dolls without using magnets. There is a nice long mat right here inside of here, and then behind here we have a couple of nice mats, and then I made a cute little card that you can journal on inside. And I took advantage, I don't know if you can see this, but this is actually shiny, and notice that this isn't. This is actually the cover and the back of the actual paper pack. So I took really well advantage. So you've got a ephemera card here, which comes in right behind this, and another one of Penny's little dresses. You can tuck her little dress in here, whichever you prefer. Let's close Penny's closet. Move over to Emily. This is Emily, and Emily is poking out right here, as you can see, with her little Tim Holtz hanger. And Emily is done in a different style. Emily has all of her clothes and all of her hats right here, and she has her little night cap on and her little night dress on, and Emily is done with the tabs. So just like any other paper doll, you can take her tabs and you can change her little clothes, and then Emily will be wearing something new. So, and then there's Emily's little hat that goes with this outfit, and you can change her hats as well. So that's Emily, and I'm going to put Emily back in here, and then you can put her little clothes inside her little pocket. Emily's little pocket is like that. And then I just used a little Tim Holtz hanger and kept it over her little tabs so that she could be, her clothes won't fall off or fall around or whatever. And then I just tucked her inside this little pocket so she can poke over the edge and say hello to everybody. Okay, so there's Emily. Let's get her little hanger back on there for you. Oops, Emily, your hat went away. Okay, so I'm gonna move these over for right now. And then you open this up, and there are plenty of places to put pictures. You can even put picture pads in, things in here. It's Emily's little name, and there's a couple of mats here. And then this frame has a removable picture mat, so you could actually use this as a template and put your own picture, or just glue the picture right on there if you'd like, and get rid of the tab, whatever you prefer. Magnet closure. So then you come over here, and the back of Emily's closet is another page. This has got the paper dolls. You open it up and there's a pocket. This is a really busy album. And then in here we have several mats. Now I had to use one pad of blue paper that I added, but I just used some of the stickers to put some fancies on them. So there's that one. Then we move over to Mom. Now this is Mom, and Mom is also done differently. So you've got a little swing tab right here that lets loose of Mom. But to start off with, you open this up and you've got a card in here for a little journaling. And Mom is on Zots. And once again, her clothes are on the tabs still. This happens to be one of her dresses. So you can see that we just backed them in black. And then her little hat's also removable. So Mom has another outfit that she can wear, and a magnet keeps it from falling off. And then you open up Mom's closet, if you want to call it that, and here's Mom's other dress and her other hat, and here's a nice big generous card in that pocket, and it also has a journaling spot right here. Come down here, another big pocket behind Mom, and you can get more mats in here, of course. I just didn't make a ton of them, but just wanted to show you all the spots. Close Mom up and move her over, and once again her hats and everything will come off as well, so Mom can be changed into a different outfit. Turn Mom, go to Dad, and this, oh sorry, this is the back of Emily. I call this the Sisters and Mom page. So this turns down, this opens. You've got a tag here in this little spot. You've got a tag here, or another picture mat here, and you could put a bigger one in there. Turn this one over. And this has got a spot for a picture. This has got a spot for a tag. This is journaling area. And then inside here, you've got a couple of great big mats. Once again, this is a piece from the back of the actual paper pad cover. Close this one, and close that up. And then there's Dad. Now Dad is also just like Mom. When you take it off, I have his little hat held down by a Tim Holtz hanger, but his clothes are also on tabbies. So here's your place to put a little card. Move this, open up Dad this way, and here is Dad's clothes. So you can take that, and there's another mat in here for pictures and pictures. And then you can bring it back and see that I can actually put Dad's clothes on him. He's got Zots behind him. And once again, you can just put the tabs in the back, change Dad's clothes, okay? And you can leave those on him if you like, or put them back. So there's Dad. So I left plenty of room. And then in Dad's pocket, you have another set of generous mats. Okay, and we close Dad up, turn that over to hold Dad down, and if you like, sometimes it might be easy to take one of these little Tim Holtz hangers and just clip it at the top. There you go. Let's turn this page, come over here, and this is a flip up, so there's a pocket in here. I call this is the Friends section. This is all the Friends section. This is our little guy from Africa, and you can slip in something behind him, and you can also slip in something right in here. So you have a couple different places. This folds down. There's an ephemera card in here with the Friends little dog. And then this folds up, and there's another spot up here where you can put cards and pictures. And this is our little boy from Scotland. And there are picture mats behind him as well. I even made sure that my little stickers had little friends on them. This comes down and over. We go to the other side. And this, I love these little buttons. This little card pops out. This is our friends area, so it says Dear Friend. We got a card here. We've got another place to put pictures in here. This folds out. Here's our little friend from Spain. Places to put pictures behind him. Here's our little girl from Netherlands. She's a little card, and there's another spot behind her for pictures. Okay, and then you can open this up, and there she is. And there's a card behind her and her little kitty. And this is our little friend from China. And you've got another card, and you've got lots more place for cards. There's lots and lots of spaces in here for pictures and cards and things. So this closes, and I just tucked this up under here just so it would not pop open. It's really hard to get stuff to stay in here sometimes. Okay, so this is a fold out. Comes this way. We've got a little card here and a lot of space for more cards. You could even hang a little one off the hanger. Floating mat that I just tucked up under there, and the magnet, of course, will keep it safe. And this is a hidden joy. So you've got this big, huge pocket back here, and this opens up, and it has a pocket. So you can put and journaling, and you got space back here, and then this little tab. And I even made this paper match inside of here, which matches the left and the right. So there's a great big spot. You can get a lot of 5x7s in here. To open this up, and this is really fun. This has got a little handmade belt out of some of the chipboard pieces in cardstock. And at the very back, you've got a generous pocket here, again, with lots of mats and lots of cute little embellishments on the mats. I put my pictures on the back and leave my mats colored in the front because I just like it. And then this little book opens up, so you've got lots of place to journal. You've got some more places to put pictures in your ephemera cards. And then this direction, again, you've got lots of places, more little journaling cards, a beautiful place to journal here. And then it all closes up with this beautiful handmade belt to keep it. Now, I tried to eliminate using a lot of magnets because if you decide to do all of your paper dolls in magnets, it's going to be at least 3 packages of magnets. So at some point I stopped at 2 packages of magnets, and that includes Penny and her magnets in the front. This is Billy, and there's a little card tucked up behind Billy's name right here. And Billy is another paper doll, and he comes out, and he does have a little hanger on him right now, and he does have a set of clothes. As you can see, there's the little tabs. And you can put a generous mat behind Billy's horse if you like. Okay, so there's plenty of space for pictures there. You open up Billy's fold out, and you've got another generous pocket up here where you can put lots of things. And you've got a spot here behind Billy's dog. There's a little card, and they also can come back in here. So you've got 2 places to put things. Okay, and Billy's clothes are in this another little pocket that you can put stuff. Okay, so Billy's clothes are in there, and his little hat, and another huge pocket with, again, I used the family from the cover of the paper pad, and there you go. So there is no limit to how many more paper mats you can put in here, and you also have a lovely journaling spot at the top of that. So this was a lot of fun. It took a long time to make for me because it was new, but I hope you enjoy it. And to close it, I honestly would tell you that you should sit it up, and it goes back and forth and back. Tuck them in. You just kind of have to puzzle them in. Close that baby up, put that clasp back on, and this would be so fun for a family album because it has a family, but because it's interactive and you can do the paper dolls. So it will be a lifetime of fun for upcoming kids and family members and everything else. So I really hope you enjoyed Penny's paper doll album. There's the back. And I look forward to making another one for you guys soon. Have a great day, okay? Bye. What we're going to be using today is Graphic 45's Penny's Paper Doll Family. It's got the family and paper dolls, and it has some great paper in it. I'm so excited to use this. As a little girl growing up, I used paper dolls all the time. And so this is something that's just right down my alley. And I've got some great new ideas that I'm going to be putting into this particular Gatefold album. So this is a pack of 24 double-sided sheets. You'll just need one pad for this project. This is Graphic 45's Penny Paper Dolls chipboard. And these are already perforated and ready to cut out. Even the little circles are cut out on the tags. These would make great hinges. We've got a package of Graphic 45's Penny Paper Doll tags and pockets, and these are pre-made pockets and envelopes and tags and really cool things that I'm looking forward to using. This is the Graphic 45 Penny Doll Collection journaling and ephemera cards, and you can see there's all different kinds of cute little cards to go with the paper. I have the grand opportunity to use all new EK Tool paper punches. And the first one I'm using is called Scalloped Scallop. And it looks just like this. And here it is punched out. It's got very tiny little scallops. It's kind of funny, it actually is. This is called Open Scallop. And this is what it looks like. EK Tools Stitchable, which seems perfect for paper dolls, doesn't it? And it looks like this. And EK Tools Deep Edge Punch Dotted Scallop, and it looks like this. Now, I don't know if you guys know that all the EK Tools punches actually have a little release on their back, which makes these extremely nice to store. So, because they lay nice and flat, and you can actually stack them on top of one another. Isn't that cool? I'm going to be using the 2 1/8 Venice white lace. Looks like that. The flat 3/4 inch Rochelle lace. 1/2 inch fancy flat back pearls. 3/8 inch fancy flat back pearls. Azat's singles. Tim Holtz ornate plates. Petaloo butterflies, and these are the ones that you can also ink yourself. They're tea stained. Now you cannot have a paper doll collection with clothing unless you use your Tim Holtz hanger clips. And I know I just used them recently, but these are perfect and they're so adorable to hang our little clothes on. These are our new hooks, and we have them in this antique, and we also have them in silver or nickel, and they're very, very lightweight, but they do not come with brad. These are our new Tim Holtz long fasteners. They're Tim Holtz version of brads, and it comes in 3 different colors. You will need 2 packs of magnets. Now, if you saw in the album, you'll notice that I used magnets to do the doll's clothes. If you choose not to do the doll clothes with the magnets, you will only need 1 package of our magnets. If you choose to do the doll clothes with the magnets, you'll need 2. Our magnets are extremely sturdy, and they're very small and lightweight. And they come 10 in a package. I also will be supplementing some cardstock. This is just basic 12 by 12 and some 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and this is kind of a creamy yellow and dark blue, and then this is tan. To create my mats, I'll be using our Fisker's Corner Punch. I'll be using our art glitter glue along with the metal tip that comes separately, and this glue does not have glitter in it, and it dries clear. 1/4 inch score tape. This is 12 by 12 medium weight black chipboard. You will need a minimum of 2 pieces. Black Coordinations Premium Cardstock Black Cat. This is 65 pound, 8.5 by 11. We'll be using 2 small pieces, strips of Tyvek. We sell this in a store, and 5 in a package. That'll last you a very long time. A few other things that you're going to need is a cutting pad, pair of scissors, pencil, ruler, clamp or a paper clip for you to put your clasp on, a scoreboard, and you'll also need a paper cutter. Okay, so let's get started with our album. The first one I want you to do is take one of your pieces of chipboard, and I want you to measure over 8.5 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Just set this aside for a moment. Take this piece, turn it this way, measure over 6.5 inches and cut. This is what you should have. I want you to take this first piece that is 6.5 by 8.5 and label it back. We're going to label all of our pieces as we go to make it a lot easier for our construction. Okay, set this one aside aside to the other side. And now I want you to take this piece, measure over 3.25 inches and cut. This is what you should have. This smaller piece, you can set it aside for another project, for another day. And on this one, I want you to label it right front. Okay, just like that. Set this with your back. The piece we set aside just a moment ago, the longer piece that came off of this, I want you to cut this down to 3 by 8.5. Okay, so cut this down to 3 by 8.5. This is what you should have. Go ahead and put this into your pile with your next project. And this piece, I want you to label it spine 1. Okay, let's get our second piece of chipboard. We are now going to measure over 8.5 inches and cut. This is what you should have. We're going to set this skinnier one just to the side for a moment. On this piece, turn it to the landscape, measure over 6 7/16. Right before the 1/2 inch mark, you're going to take off 1/16, so 6 7/16. This is what you should have. Took this smaller piece and set it here for just a second. Take this piece and label it front and set it with your other pieces that you labeled. Take the piece that you just cut off. We're going to measure over 3 inches and cut. Okay. This bigger piece that we had earlier can go in the pile for another day. This is what you should have. This is spine 2. And this can go in your pile for another project. So this is what you should have. One back piece that is 6.5 by 8.5. A front piece, which is actually front right, 6 7/16 by 8.5. A front left piece, that is 3.25 by 8.5. Two spine pieces that are 3 by 8.5. We are going to cut 4 pieces of Tyvek that are 8 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. Since the envelope is doubled, we're just going to cut. I'm going to cut 2 pieces out, and I'll have 4 when I'm done. Okay? Okay, so we have 4 pieces of Tyvek that are 1.5 by 8 inches. Let's go ahead and get our scoreboard out, and we're going to score each of these down the middle. So at 3/4 inch, we're going to score each one. Now Tyvek can be a little slick, so it may give you a little bit of trouble. I just kind of start it and then hold on for dear life. Now mine might be a little off, but that's okay because we're going to cover the Tyvek on our album skeleton, okay? So just do the best you can to score down each of these pieces at 3/4 inch. We're going to go ahead and fold our Tyvek over. Alright, so we have each piece folded over, and these are the peak up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our score tape out and put score tape on the back of our Tyvek. Each one has the peak up, as you can see, so it has the opening at the bottom. And even though you do have to push it down, we want to make sure it's on that side. So go ahead and take your score tape. Place your first piece just to the right of the fold. Do not get on the fold. And do not go over the edges of your Tyvek. And you're just going to go ahead and put score tape all the way down the seam. Then go to the far edge. Go ahead and put your Tyvek along that far right edge. And then some down the middle. If it overlaps, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. The biggest thing is you just want to make sure that you don't have any score tape going over the edges or over your actual fold. So you want to make sure your score tape is not on the fold. Turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. put your score tape just to the right of your fold. Do not go on your fold. Keep it all the way down. Do not go over your edges. Then go to your far right edge. Again. Now, mine are just a tiny bit uneven, so I'm not going to need a piece down the middle on that side. And we're going to go ahead and do that. If yours are uneven, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it, okay? And I want you to do this to all 4 pieces. Something I might want to mention to you is it's a pretty good idea that you should never pull your score tape to the bottom and kind of stretch it. What you kind of want to do is you just want to lead it along the edge and push it down as you go. Because if you keep pulling on it and tugging on it, it's going to make everything bow. And it makes it just a little harder to deal with the pieces. So just kind of guide it down as you go with your fingers until you get to the bottom and either rip it off or tear, or take your scissors and cut it off. Okay? Once you have all 4 pieces covered in score tape, make sure that you get it down nice and snug. I'm just using the tool from my scoreboard. Bone folder is working just great. You can use anything else that you'd like. Just make sure it's all down nice and snug. Go ahead and refold all the pieces, and we're ready to move on. Let's go ahead and get out our piece for the back. It should be labeled back 6.5 by 8.5, and 2 of your pieces of Tyvek. Set the other ones aside for a moment. We're going to take our ruler, turn it sideways, get out a pencil, and I would like for you to mark. This is 8.5. These are 8. So you're going to mark at 1/4 inch and at 8 1/4 on both sides. So and that's on the long side. So at 1/4 inch and 8 1/4. Put little pencil marks. Bring over one of your pieces of Tyvek, and I would like for you to take off the backing from your Tyvek. Just take off one side. Now, this is the sticky side, this is the peak, this is the opening. So we're going to place it on the left-hand side with the peak on the left, and you're going to tap it down right where you made that pencil mark. Okay? Then go ahead and run it right along this edge. So the peak is on this edge. Okay? I'm going to open it up, make sure it's down nice and snug. Once again, if you'd like to use your bone folding tool, make sure it's down nice and snug. Okay, so, and we're going to do the same to the other side. I'm going to take off one side of my score tape backing, and once again, this time I'm the opposite direction, so my peak is on my right, my opening is on my left. I'm going to take it down to the little 1/4 inch mark that I made, making sure that my peak is right up against the right hand edge here of my back. I'm going to run it right along the edge. Bring it over. Make sure it's down nice and snug. This is what's holding your album together, so it's important that you make sure it's kept together nice and snug. Okay? Now go ahead and get out your 2 spines. You should have spine 1 and spine 2, and these 2 pieces are 3 by 8.5, and they're going to go right up against the left and the right hand side. So I'm going to start left. Once again, I'm going to take the backing off of my score tape on the left hand side. Now, normally I would have you guys pick the best side of your album pieces, but it doesn't really matter on the spines in the back because they're both being covered. All right. So make sure that this is flush on the top and the bottom, okay? Even down here and at the top. Push from the center up and then down, and once again make sure everything is on there nice and snug. It should hinge up like this. Never push backwards. If you do, you're going to break your album, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and take the score tape backing off of the right hand side hinge. Push your right spine right up against it. Make sure it is even at the top and the bottom. Hold tight. Push over in the middle. Push up and push down. And once again, make sure it's on there nice and snug. Okay? So that's the back and the spines of your Gatefold album. So we're going to make the same marks again. This time we're going to go to the, I'm going on my left spine, making another mark at 1/4 inch. and 8 1/4. Turning it around, doing again, 1/4 inch, 8 1/4. I'm going to get out my left front. So this basically is the front right here on the left when it's gatefolded. Here's your spines. So I'm leaving the dimensions up for you guys. So we're going to first take one of our Tyveks that we just did. Take off one side of the backing of your score tape. Something that you should know about your hands when you're using score tape is that you should always make sure your hands are clean. No lotion, nothing on them, because anything like lotion is going to deactivate some of the stickiness. So be very careful. So peak on the right, peak on my left, opening on my right. Once again, I'm going to place it right on that 1/4 inch mark. Run it right down the side of what is my spine. Make sure that it's on there nice and snug. Okay. Peel off the backing. Now, once again, I'm going to place my front. Now, if your pieces have a nicer side, remember on this piece, this is actually going to be folded over this way. So this is my roughest side. This is my cleanest side. So I'm going to keep my cleanest side open because this is what's going to show. Push it over in the middle, up and down. Make sure it's on there snug, okay? So now you have your front like this. That's why we kept this side clean, because this is gonna show. We are now going to take the last piece of Tyvek, take off the backing of your score tape, peak on the right, opening on the left, place it on your little pencil mark, run it straight down the side here. Make sure it's on nice and snug. Get your front. And now this time you are not going to see my lettering because this is my roughest side and this is my cleanest side. So I'm going to turn it over. So my roughest side is here. My two sides are pretty clean. Okay. Make sure they're even. Oops, take the backing off of your fumble. Take the backing off of your score tape. Okay, once again, make sure this is even. Press it over in the middle, up, down, and make sure it's nice and tight. That's my seam for my score tape. For my Tyvek envelope. It's not going to make any difference. This is all going to get covered. So, this is what you should have. Basically, I made it so that I only have one thing over. I didn't want to have a gap in between, so it's going to open this way and then this way. So it'll have a nice, clean closure at the top, and we'll put our closure on a little bit later, okay? So let's get ready to make our cover-ups. Go ahead and set this aside and get out 2 pieces. I have my little notes. 2 pieces of your black cardstock. We need 8 strips that are 2 by 8 1/4. So first thing you want to do is just go ahead and take these 2 pieces, turn them this way, measure over 8 1/4 and cut. This is what you should have. I am going to go ahead and toss these in the garbage. They're just 2 teeny little pieces. You need 8 total strips of 2 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to cut mine. I'll be right back. This is what you should have. This little small piece came from my first piece when I cut my 5 pieces out of it. This is my larger piece. These are going to go into my stockpile. And now you should have 8 pieces that are 2 by 8 1/4. Let's get our scoreboard out and get these scored. You're going to score each one of these at 1 inch. Please do not overscore. If you do, you're going to break your paper and cut it. So each one is going to get scored at 1 inch on all 8 pieces. Okay? Let's go ahead and finish scoring them. I'll be right back. When you're done, I want you to fold each one of these over. We always fold against the score line. It makes it easier. Just get them all folded, okay? And we'll be right back. Okay, we are going to do the exact same thing that we did with the Tyvek. You're going to turn them over so that the peak is up and the opening is down. So the first thing you're going to do, make sure that your peak is up. you're going to put your first piece of score tape just to the side. I'm on the right side of the fold. Do not go over the fold and do not go over your edges. If you do, you'll need to trim off anything that goes over the edges. One to the far right hand side edge of your piece of cardstock and one down the middle. Once again, if you get anything over, we'll clip all that off. So one right down the middle. And we're going to do this to all 8 pieces. So go ahead and get your score tape on. You don't turn it around to the other side. I just flipped it around. Same thing. Put a piece of score tape just to the side of the right side of the fold. One to the far right edge. This is the same piece, I just flipped it around. Okay, and one down the center. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to all 8 pieces, and I'll be right back. Once you have them all done, make sure that you fold them all back up so that the peaks are up. And we're going to go ahead and get our album out. So let's go ahead and start on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and just push it far over so that I have my front piece there. Take one of your black cardstock, and I'll just go ahead and fold that over for right now. Once again, we're going to do exactly the same thing as we were doing before. So you want to take off one side. If you have anything over the edges, make sure that you clip it off, okay? Before you put it down. Take off the backing on one side of your score tape. Now we're going to just keep doing the same thing, okay? Now, I'm sorry, before we start laying these down, let's make our pencil marks. I'm going to start here, get my ruler out, and we're going to make a pencil mark at 1/8, which should be halfway between, let's go down here. 1/8, which is halfway between your 1/4 inch before, and 8 3/8. So this should be right in between. Okay, we're going to do that on all one side of the spine. So I'm just going right up to the next one. See, I was at this one. I'm going to go up to the next one. On each one of these edges, just make a line right at 1/8. I'm just making my little 1/8 of an inch mark away from the bottom and the top on each one so that I can lay down my black cardstock covers. Okay, I need a guide. Okay, and we'll do them on the other side too. So for right now, we're on the inside. So let me go back out now. So I'll open this back up. So I've got, it's 1/8 of an inch from each one of these seams. I've got a mark. So once again, now I've got score tape is off on this side, not on this side. Peak, opening. I'm going to lay this right down on that little mark that I just made, which is 1/8 of an inch. I'm running it right along the seam. I'm not going over the seam. I'm running it right along the seam. So you should be able to fold this up and not have it be in the way. Now nice and tight. I'm going to take the backing off the other side of this piece of cardstock on the score tape. I'm going to push it over in the middle, up and down, and make sure it's on there nice and tight. So, okay. Should be able to move that right with the folds, okay? So next piece, take the backing off of one side of the score tape on one side of the fold of your cardstock. Fold it back over, okay? Peak, opening, set it right on your 1/4 inch mark. Do not go over the fold on the piece of Tyvek. The nice thing about it sitting on the Tyvek is it actually comes up pretty nicely if you accidentally put it down too much or too off kilter. Push it over in the middle, up, down and make sure it's on tight. Fold, fold, okay? We're gonna do that on the other two pieces. Push over, up, down, and make sure it's all nice and tight. Now these are our seams, so now you should be able to fold it over. Do not ever fold it back. If you do, you'll break your album, okay? So now we're gonna turn it over to the other side, and we're going to put all the pieces down on here. So we're going to start by doing our same little marks. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to make a mark at 1/8, 8 3/8. I'm going to go to the next section. Okay, 1/8 3/8. I'm trying to do this from a distance for you guys. Okay, so I got all my marks. We're going to place these ones on just a little bit differently. So to start off with, go ahead and get one of your pieces of cardstock. Go ahead and get your backing off of one side. And we're going to place these on just a little bit differently so that it'll fold nicely, okay? So take one side off the backing. I'm on one of the short sides. Peak, opening. I only want you to place it just down to the right-hand side of this opening. Do not go over the opening up here, okay? Place it down. Now lift it up. Take off the backing. Now if you're off a little bit, these are going to get covered, so don't get all excited, okay? We need to do these while they're folded, otherwise you're not going to be able to fold it back over. Okay? Now, while it's folded, take it and curve it over in the middle and fold it down. Okay? This way you won't have to worry about it. Okay? Bring it back. Make sure it's down nice and snug. Now mine's off a tiny bit, but it's okay, it won't matter. It's gonna fold, and it's gonna open, and it's gonna fold, and it's gonna open. So that is my front right piece, okay? So the key is that it will take a while to work it out, and I got mine off just a little. See, it's okay, no biggie. Let's go to the next one. Get one of your pieces of cardstock. We're gonna do this all the way across, okay? One side off the score tape backing. Peak, opening, placing down the one side first, running it right next to my, I get off just a tiny bit, okay? Take off the other side. Do not place it down. I'm just pulling the backing off, because I had such a hard time doing that a minute ago. Okay, bring it up, right, fold it, take it in the center, push it around, bring it back up, get your seams. All right, now I've got one more. I know I did mine out of order, but that's okay. I've got one more to put down. Pull off the backing on the other side. Now they might be a little stiff in the beginning, but you can work them and it'll work out. Lift it up. All right, so it is going to be a little stiff. You do need to work around it for a while. But once you get it all together and you get your clasp on and your pages in, it'll start to come together. But just think, once it has a clasp on, it's going to hold it. So, and it will open up, okay? So this is the base of your skeleton. And once again, like I said, we're going to work on this and it'll fold its way over after a while. And the clasp will hold it on. We do not put our clasp on yet because I want my clasp to go over the top of my cover paper that we're going to cover it with. And on this side, we'll need to take a tiny piece of one of our pieces of chipboard that we had from before and build up so our clasp is going to be that little 1/16 of an inch down on one side. So we're going to get moving on. So go ahead and set your album aside. So go ahead and get out 5 pieces of your black cardstock. Just put one aside. And for right now, I want you to take these 4 pieces and cut them into 8 1/4 by 7. So you're going to measure over and cut off for 8 1/4. And then measure over to 7 inches. So this is what you should have. Put your smaller pieces in your stockpile. And go ahead and get out that other piece, the single piece that I had you set aside. And I would like you to measure this one into 6 1/2 by 8 1/4. So go ahead and measure over to 8 1/4 and cut, then turn to 6 1/2 and cut. Go ahead and put the smaller piece into your stockpile. Mark this one 6 1/2 by 8 1/4, okay? Now we are going to score on these 7-inch pieces, all 4 of them, at 6 inches. Sorry, I'd already scored this one, I apologize. But anyway, take all 4 of these 7-inch pieces and score at 6 inches, okay? Then on the one piece that you cut at 6 1/2, score at 6 inches as well. So you'll have 4 pieces with 1-inch hinges, and you'll have this one piece that we measured at 1/2 inch hinge. On the hinges, these are the 7-inch pieces. The 1-inch hinge, I want you to score tape it the same way that we did all of the other things that we've score taped so far. You want to make sure that you fill the hinge with score tape. And on the 6 1/2 inch one, same thing. You're going to fill the 1/2 inch with score tape. So do that on all 5 pieces. Score tape all the way down the hinges. You want to make sure that your score tape is down nice and tight, especially on your pages. You absolutely do not want your pages coming up, okay? So if it's down nice and snug, we then make sure it's down nice and snug when we put it on our spines. You won't have to worry about your pages coming out. And the last one is my little short one. All right, let's go ahead and get our album out. Okay, the first page that we're going to place, I'm going to turn this. This is my front and my first spine, which would be my right spine technically. I'm going to take off my backing, my score tapes, and I want you to measure halfway, so 1/2 inch mark from this spine. So make a 1/2 inch mark right there, 1/2 inch, and on the other end, make a 1/2 inch mark, okay? Because you're going to place this hinge a 1/2 inch from this fold, okay? So I'm going to place it in 1/2 inch, okay? So the next one is going to be butted up against that, which is 1 inch, and then we have a 1/2 inch ones left. So you're going to take the next one, and it's going to go up against this one, okay? And then our 1/2 inch one will go there, and it'll butt up against here. So pull the score tape backing off of this one. Okay. I'm kind of doing mine a little bit backwards than what you're used to doing, but it's easier for me, okay? And I think you'll see it better. So now we're going to butt up. If it makes it any easier, see, this is different. So once again, here's your back. I've just turned it clockwise. My first page is here. I just put in. Taking this one, I'm holding up the hinge, butting it right up against the back of this one before I let it down. Make sure it's nice and even, and place that one right there. Take my smaller hinge, my 1/2 inch piece, get the score tape off the back of this one. Once again, I'm going to hold it up, place it right up against the back of this last one I just put down. Push it right up against the back. Make sure it's even, and place it down. So, these 3 pages look like this. You have a 1/2 inch gap, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch. Now, I already did the other side the same exact way, but the first page, let me show you. is placed exactly against our cover, our spine cover. So first page, and then the second page is placed right up against that. So 1 inch gap, 1 inch gap. So here's your other side, okay? So here's your back, here's your left side. So you got 1 inch gap, 1 inch gap, 1 inch gap. Now watch what happens when you place them. Push one over, one over, one over, one over, one over. Now what you should have is half inch gap, half inch gap. See, half inch, half inch, half inch. So all the way around, if these pages were straight across from one another, you should have half inch gaps. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Place the left side right up against the first page. Hinges on your right. Okay, this is the back of the page. Place it down. Take this one, hinges on your right. Place it right up against. So you have 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. See that? So this is the L shape. This is the L shape. This is your cover. Over here, L shape, L shape, L shape. So I started half an inch in with the page. So let's get ready to do our cover. First of all, we're going to do the spines because the cover pieces are going to actually go over the spines, which is unusual because we usually do it the other way around. So in your paper pad, let's look for this piece. It has this beautiful dark kind of a burgundy red flower pattern on one side, and on the other side it has penny. And the first thing I want you to do is go ahead and cut off the tab across the top and come right back. So the tabs don't have anything on them, so throughout the process when I say cut off the tab, just go ahead and throw it away. We will not be using it. So the next thing I want you to do is measure over 6 inches and cut. This is what you should have. These pieces should be exactly the same. I want you to go ahead and turn them. I always look at the back to make sure there's not something on the back that we could use. Okay, let's go ahead and turn them this way so I have the little things at the top. I got a little penny at the top and a couple of little stamps. So turn them back over. Measure over 8 3/8 and cut. This is what you should have. This is going to be the first set of cardstock you're going to put in your reserve. Go ahead and get your scoreboard out. On the 6 inches across mark, you're going to be scoring at 1 3/8, which is the mark just before the 1.5 inch. Don't score hard. And you're going to score at 4 5/8, which is the mark just past 4.5 on both pieces. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fold this direction kind of lightly. I'm not pressing real hard, I'm just giving it a fold. Let's get our score tape out, and you're going to score tape on the side that has the paper dolls. I want you to score tape on each side of the fold. Do not get on the fold. Now this might be a little tricky because it's going to be a little hard to see, especially with my lighting. I have a heck of a time. Just to the left of the fold. Now I have some lines kind of on my paper, but you can see here, so when I fold it, it's on this side of the fold, and I will be putting one on the other side of the fold, but for right now, put it on the left-hand side of the fold, one right along the outside edge, okay, and I'm going to put one down the middle. I'm going to put one just to the right of the fold, not on it. One over here to the left of the other fold, my fold, to the right of the fold, to the far right edge. Don't go over. If you do, cut it off. One down the middle of the right fold. I'm going to go down the center, and then I'm just going to put a couple of little shorter pieces on each side. And they're not overly short, but we're going to do both pieces exactly the same. Okay, so they both look exactly the same. Make sure your score tape is down nice and tight on all of it. And we'll begin putting these on our album. So I've got my album out, and it's facing the back towards me. Okay, so I want you to notice this. This is the front. This is the back, right. This is the right side. So this is technically your left spine, but let's just call it our right side, okay? The one with the shorter outer flap. I want you to take off, I'm taking off the left side score tape next to the fold. Okay, so you can see that. All right, I'm going to press this right against my spine, measuring that I have a 1/16 of an inch from the bottom and the top. So it's just a very short black border, okay? Now, I'm gonna bring it back down. Make sure that your back folds nice and neat. See how it folds right next to it? So if you hold on, I'm just pressing over like that, okay? Hold on snug, up, down. Let's scoot out so you can see. This is held on, this is the cover. You can pull back and pull off the rest of the score tape, starting with the back left corner, the back left side. Hold it, don't let it go or it'll press itself up against the back of the spine, and you don't want it there yet. Just want to get all this off first. Once you get it off, okay, we're going to leave it at an angle. So this is at the angle that it would be closed. Press from the center, see, center meaning this right here. Press from the center all the way flat against the spine. Up, down. Pull off the second side, or technically the third side. All right, keep it held down. Again, I'm taking my thumb and I'm pressing across here in the center, up and down. All right, open up your book, and we're going to carefully take our fingers. So you're just going to press right along these. Make sure that they're nice and tight. Let's do the other one. I'm going to close up my binder. I'm going to take this off the left-hand side. Okay. Once again, I'm pushing. This is the back that doesn't have the tape off of it yet. It's right up against the fold. I'm going to get this on here nice and straight. A little press on there. Fold on, making sure that it's folded. See, I've got this thing folded over. Press that on there. Okay, that's the front. I'm going to take off the rest of my score tape. If you want to do yours center first like we did before, you go ahead. I'm pretty confident that I can do this without it. I say that now, and then I'll wish I didn't. Keep it folded as if it were closed. Push from the middle, across the center, up, down. My other tab's still not adhered. And push my thumb down the middle of the back piece and push it down. Open your album, press, press. Spines are done. So in your paper pad, you're going to locate this piece. It looks just like the cover, and on the other side it's plaid. Go ahead and cut off your tab across the top and throw it away. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut just to the edge of the blue, right here, down this way, and on the other side, just to the edge of the blue. This is what you should have. This came off of this side, and this came off of this side, so you can see that I cut right along the blue next to the family. Go ahead and take these two pieces and set them in your reserve for right now. We're going to take this piece, and this time I want you to cut right to the right-hand side of this red, between the blue and the red, right here and on the top, okay? Because we don't want to cut Dad's hat off. So we'll just cut there and cut there. This is what you should have. I'm going to go ahead and take these two pieces and put them in my reserve, and this is what you should have now. So we're going to start by doing the under front piece. I just think it'd be easier this way. This is going to fit on here, but we need to fill our other space. So I took one of the pieces from reserve that we just put in there that matches this. This is what we're going to fill for the top. So we're going to leave this the length that it is. We're going to take it this way. I want you to measure over 3/4 of an inch and cut. So I want 2 strips that are 3/4 of an inch. This is what you should have. Take the larger piece and put it in your reserve. Bring your book back, your album back. This first piece, we're going to be gluing right across the top of there. The second piece, we're going to be gluing to match the borders right along the bottom. So let's get our glue. And we're going to measure carefully so that our borders match. I'm butting it up against a piece right there. Taking the bottom piece there. match up my bottom border. So it looks like the trim for this is going to be right along these little lines that are right here on this side and this side. Okay, so these are what I cut off. I'm going to go ahead and set them aside just in case. I know that sounds silly, but you know what? If you ever cut too much off, you can always just go right back over there and put it back on again. Wouldn't be the first time I've used it. Alright, so the only thing I can see that I need to get rid of is this tiny little border at the bottom because I don't have one at the top, and I want to make sure that they match on both ends. But cutting off that little piece actually was perfect for this cover. So I'm going to use score tape. Get my score tape out. Since this is the cover and we're going to be putting things on it, I'm going to frame it to make sure it stays on and edges don't come up. And I'll put my score tape on and be right back. Make sure your score tape's on nice and snug. We're going to pull the backing off and place it on the cover. Okay, I've got all my score tape backing off. This is the most important part. You want to make sure that you get it on evenly, but at the same time you want to leave the same border that matches your little border on the edges over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down, place this about a ½ inch from the top and the bottom. Place that down, and then I can drop it down. Make sure it's on there nice and snug. So first of all, take this piece out of your paper pad. Go ahead and make sure it has the plat on the back. Cut off the trim across the top, the tab, and throw it away. So take your new piece, measure over 6 inches, and cut. Okay, so this is what you should have. Take this piece and go ahead and put it in your reserve. So on this piece, what I want you to do, measure in 2½ inches this way and cut. This is what you should have. Go ahead and put this piece into your reserve. Take this piece, and just like the top of this and the bottom of this, I want you to cut right underneath of that little cream line right there, and at the bottom, right above this little cream line. Okay, be right back. This is what you should cut off. Put this in your reserve, and this is the piece that's going to go on here. Measure them up so they match at the top and the bottom. Make sure that Mom, whole piece. Now we're going to be trimming a little bit off this edge. I want you to push this piece flush with the left side. Take your pencil and measure so that you're right at the edge of your left fold. I'm going to make a mark at the bottom and the top. That mark that I made is right here. So I'm literally making a mark that's going to cut right to the edge of the black. Okay? Right to the edge of the black. So there's a mark right here, and there's a mark right there. So when I cut this off and I place it on here, I'm not going to glue it down yet because I got to put my little pieces up here. But when I place this on, it'll look like this is all one piece. Okay. So I'm going to cut where my little mark is all the way down to this one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I cut this little piece off. I'm going to hang on to that just for a minute. Do not glue this down. Double check that it matches, that everything lines up. Check Mom's arm. Looks pretty good. Okay, so set this piece aside for a minute. In your reserve, I want you to go get this piece. We cut these pieces off of it. Looks like this on the other side. Poor Penny. Cut these pieces. So I want you to cut this piece right in half. So this is what you should have. Go ahead and take one of these and put it in your reserve. Take the first one. I'm going to butt it right up against this piece right here so that it has the same distance at the bottom that matches. Go ahead and measure all the way to the edge. So measure right to here, and I'm going to cut that piece right there. Okay, this is what you should have. Should measure and just butt right up against. Take the piece that came off of this one, do the same thing. Take it to the top. Sometimes I try to see if my, measure this one. All right, and go ahead and cut that piece. Just the little piece that was left over, it's going to go up in my reserve. This is what you should have. We're going to go ahead and glue these down. And if you have any little pencil marks that you need to take off, go right ahead. Make sure that your borders at the top and the bottom match. Okay, we're going to take this one, butt it right up against there. So I have the same border down here as up here. Now, this piece, close it back up and get my clamp just to the edge, just to keep it stable. There, that makes it a little easier for you to see, and it doesn't move around as much, get in your way. So for now, this piece is going to go right up against the edge of this one. And when you do that, make sure that you've lined up your borders across the top, your borders across the bottom, before you glue anything down. So I'm making sure that everything lines up. So I am going to put score tape on the back of this. There. That way if we put anything on this, it won't come peeling up. Make sure everything's down nice and tight. Take the backing off and we'll put it down. Have all of my score tape backing off. Again, be very, very careful when laying this down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work from this outer edge, and I turned it this way so that I can measure up my edge and my borders. I need to get this on completely straight. If you don't, it's going to look weird. I did this edge first, and then I moved this way. So that is cool. So we have matching cover, so we don't have to worry about losing part of Penny's family. Okay, so I need for you, we're going to put our clasp on, so it's really important that we make sure that our cover, the right and the left, are stable. Because if you don't have it clamped, and we put the clasp on, and it's not together securely, well, I think we're going to have a problem. Now, I don't want to put it on Penny's sister's head, so I'm going to put it just next to it. Now, put it together. So we need to add a little piece of cardstock underneath it here, and I just want it to fit right in here, but I also have to put holes in it. So let's get out a piece of chipboard. I'm sorry, not cardstock, a little piece of chipboard from your remainder that you had before. I'm going to go grab some. Alright, so I found a little piece of chip, so it's going under the right piece. This little piece of chipboard is just a little remnant I had, and all it needs to do is fit so that you can cut it out and stick it underneath and build this up. And I don't want it to show, so I'm going to go ahead and get, hopefully my scissors will work. I'm going to cut off a little piece. One will fit, you see how it has a lip? So I think one's going to sit inside of here. We're going to have to make the new holes and then put another piece underneath of it. But I'm not going to try to cut two pieces of chipboard at the same time. So I'm going to set this. I wonder if this one would be easier to start with. Just for the template, I'm going to use this other one. It should be exactly the same size, one would think. So I'm just going to take my pencil and make a template. Cut around to cut around it. So I'm just penciling it around. So I made a little template so it fits up inside, and then we'll have to use our craft knife to cut holes. So I cut off the little extra. I'm just going to throw that away. Make sure it fits up inside the piece it's going on. It's got to fit up inside of here. Now before you put it in there, let's be smart. I tend to forget that if I need two, I might as well make a template with the one that fits, right? So I'm going to make another little template with the one I just cut out. Alright, so there's my second template. So this one should fit in here, but see how it fits just flush? We need one more to go on top of that one. So let's make sure we make our spot for our holes. Now I don't know if you have anything small enough to make those little holes. If you do, go ahead and use it. If you don't, just use your craft knife and get your cutting board out. I'm not going to do it on my table, and just make holes with your craft knife, okay? I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out, and I'll be right back to show you how to put it together. I'm putting my second one, this is the first one that I did. See the little marks for my holes? I'm putting the second one that I cut in there and making the marks for the holes so that it's consistent. This is where my holes need to be on the two pieces. Okay, let's go make our holes. Okay, so I got my little holes made. I'll make sure I get my first one in there. One of these I know fit perfectly inside of there. That is inside of there. All right, so I have my first little piece of cardstock in there. Or not cardstock, I'm sorry, chipboard. I put a little tiny piece of score tape on top of it. My holes are already made. I'm going to put the second piece matching up the holes. So make sure that it's built up. So this should be exactly the width of the distance between here and here, so that when we build it up and set it down, see, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so back to, got my holes in, got my clasp on, so about right there. Alright, so I made a little mark, a little pencil mark where I'm going to put the left hand side. This one is going to go right there. Give you an idea. Now with just butting my ruler right up against it, it's 3 1/4. The top of it's 3 1/4 inches. That's just butting my ruler up against it, okay? So 3 1/4 inches. I need to make my holes so I can put my brads through. So go ahead and hold it on there. Make a nice, make sure you can see your circles. So I'm just kind of going around in circles a few times. So these, it's kind of hard to see them on this paper. So you want to make sure. Looks like there's one, and there's one. Now whatever you do when you pull this out to make your holes, make sure your pages are not underneath of it, okay? So pull your pages to the left. Go ahead and put your book down. If you put your pages this way, you're going to put holes in your pages, and I really don't think you want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and work my little holes for my Tim Holtz fasteners. I'm using the long fasteners. Thank God they're long, huh? Because they're going to have to go through 3 pieces of chipboard on the other side. Holes made. We will be covering the other side, so don't worry about this. And I used the antique, so it matches. All right, I got my holes made, and I'm going to make sure that I'm the same distance apart. They go all the way through. There's only one hindrance of my nails when it comes to brads. I need a little help. Okay, I'm going to turn this brad so that it's going up and down. All right, get those nice and secure in there. Okay, we'll be covering this. There is my left-hand side. I'm going to put this back together once again. This is where it's really, really, really important that you have this stable, even on both ends and pushed all the way in. Okay, clamp it with whatever you got for dear life, because you do not want your clasp to be uneven. Let's get the other half of the clasp, lock it in there. It's nice and even. Get it locked in as if it was closed. Put a little line where it's going to go. Make my pencil holes. Hold it tight. Don't let it move around or you'll make your holes in the wrong spot. Make my little pencil holes. All right, so I'm going to take my clamps off and go make my holes. Once again, push your pages away from this. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. So, one is going to go there, and one is going to go there. So I'm going to make my holes, get my brads, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I got my holes made. Get these in. Now make sure that your clasp is going this way. Don't put it in upside down. You'll be really sorry if you do that. Now I need to get that to go through that hole. These two. Ah, got it. This one in. There we go. These aren't going to have much to go on, so be really careful. Okay, so I'm holding on to the back of the brad while I'm pushing these back so that they don't push back through and make it loose. Let's test everything. Look at that. There we go. So in your paper pen, I want you to locate this page. It's got the paper, the colorable paper dolls on it, and on the other side it looks like this. So I want to put Lucy on the back of my album. So first of all, let's just cut off this tag and throw it away, the tab across the top. You're going to measure over to 4 11/16. So it's the mark right before the 3/4. and cut. This is what you should have. Go ahead and put this piece in your reserve pile for later. Now I want you to turn it this way and cut right along this black line and save all of this part, okay? This is what you should have. Put this in your reserve. Cut right along this black line and keep this piece. This is what you should have. This piece is going to go at the very top, leaving about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. We're going to cut this piece to go right down here, okay? And then we're going to get a little border to put right in here. Okay, so let's start by putting score tape on the back of the larger piece. This is the piece that has Lucy on it. Put a frame all the way around, one down the center and 2 short pieces, and a short. Get your score tape down nice and snug. Take off the backing. Okay. All right, so once again, I'm going to turn it sideways, and I need you to make sure that you butt it right up against the top so that it's even with the borders, even on both sides. Lay it down. Okay, pretty darn close. Now take this piece that we just had, measure it. I'm going to measure it to this piece, and I'm going to cut this corner off because I don't have any corners on the top ones. So I'm going to cut that. I'll be right back. It's a little piece that I cut off. I'm actually going to keep it because you never know when you might need a corner. I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. Sometimes when I turn stuff over, it almost makes me want to change my mind. This is going to the bottom. Measuring it, matching up with my bottom borders. And measuring up this way with the other piece. Okay. On your sticker sheet, you have a little black edge, so ignore that little black edge. And the sticker starts just past, so you might want to measure just the sticker. Okay, it looks like it's going to go to just at the end of the word add right here. So I'm going to pull off just the picture, just the one that says add a little color to your life. I thought this was cute since this is the coloring part of the back of the page. It makes me want to color it in so bad. So I'm going to snip that with my scissors. So I have the rest of this. I'm going to go pretty close to the base of this so I can cover. I have a little bit of a flower petal right here that I don't want to show. So I'm going to go right kind of to the base of the picture that's at the top, as close to the base as I can. Run this right along. So there you go. There's the back. Now if you want to have fun, go color it. I think it'd be a blast. Go ahead and get out your 3/4 inch flat Rochelle lace. We are going to trim this in lace. Now I'm going to put this lace this direction on the bottom and this direction on the top, and I'm going to run it all the way around. And I am going to go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to find one of my pieces that's actually all the way, not cut off, right at the edge of my paper. You know, if you have some other lace and it happens to be cream, you know, that would be just as pretty. So I'm just going to go around my edges, taking it all the way around. My glue just spit on me. Okay, undo this, open it up, run it all the way down the front. Now you are not going to be able to put anything thick on this side because of the closure, because of the pages butting up against each other. This lace is pretty thin, so we should be okay. I'm going to need to go get some more lace. So you will need 2 yards of the flat Rochelle 3/4 inch lace. So it's going to go this way. Finish putting my lace on, be back. So you might want to put a little bit of glue on the tips of some of these pieces of lace, just to make sure that it doesn't fold down on you. I'm just going to put a little teeny bit of, so I'm going to glue those little pieces down and I'll be back. Now make sure you let that glue dry underneath the lace before you put your album back together. Otherwise you're going to glue the 2 front flaps together and you're not going to be happy. So let's let that dry and we'll be back. So I've got one of my Tim Holtz ornate plates. Journaling in ephemera cards, I pulled out this piece. And I'm going to turn this card over. Now obviously I've made my marks on the outside of my paper, so I'm going to have to go to the inside. I'm going to go ahead and put these in my reserve pile. I'll just continue to get this cut down so that it doesn't peek out of the edges, but I'm leaving the edges on it because I need something to glue to. All right, throw those little corners away. Double check one more time that it fits inside of here. Okay, I'm going to get my glue out. Glue on the edges of this down. Now make sure you don't put anything where your brads go because otherwise it won't go through. Put your brads in. Push it down that way. These are just gonna get, they're just in there for pretties. Score tape is my friend. It's long enough to go right over those brads. Now if you want to use glue, you go right ahead. So this is the left-hand spine. Just place this, leave that look centered to me. Out of my Penny's Paper Doll chipboards, I got this little piece out that has the family on it. Since this is what I have on the outside, I'm going to turn to the other spine. I'm going to get out my little Tim Holtz brads. I'm going to get antique. I'm going to put them in the little holes and bend them to the back and put some score tape on it and put this on the other side. So let's get our brads in and get our tape on the back. Your chipboard holes are going to be substantially larger than your little brads. So when you place them on the back, again, what I would do is either put some glue on them or some tape over them to hold them in place. This is just, they're just there for show. So you don't have to worry about them not actually working because we're just putting them on there just to have the holes filled. Go ahead and get the backing off your score tape if you're using it. Otherwise, if you're using glue, hold it on until it dries. So I got my score tape backing off. This is the other spine on the other side. Make sure you put it on there the correct way. Careful not to set it down until you're sure you have it centered. See those little brads? You wouldn't even know the difference. This came out of our chipboards. It says the Love of Family Blah Blessings thing. It's circle. I'm just going to hot glue this right on the front to cover up this missing L problem right there. And then I'm going to get a butterfly and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, we're ready to move on to the inside. So the inside of a gatefold is very interesting. So I'm going to start 2 pages here, 3 pages here. First page is back, left, down, right, back, down, center, right, down, front, left, down, right, down. So I'm going to label these. Technically, we're not going to worry, even though these are technically pages, we're not going to go there, okay? So I'm going to refer to this one as the short inside cover, long inside cover, back, page 1, page 2, page 3. If you want to label these, I would. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, back. Okay, so you ready? We are going to start right now. I'm just putting them down for a second. We are going to cover this page, the inside of the back, the inside back of the both front pieces and the back. Okay? So I want you to get out one new piece of your cardstock and you're going to measure over 3 1/8 and cut. This is what you should have. Just set this piece aside for a moment. Turn it this way, measure over 8 3/8 and cut. This is what you should have. I'm going to take the little piece that I just cut off and throw it away. Get your album out, open it up to the front left back cover. I'm going to go ahead and put some score tape on here because something else will be adhered to this and you do not want it to come off. So I'm just going to score tape a frame all the way around. Do not go over the edges. If you do, make sure you cut it off. Try to get as close to the edges as you can. This is how I put my score tape on. So I've got a frame and 3 down the middle. Make sure it's on nice and snug. Take the backing off of your score tape and get your album out. So this is the inside of the left short cover. Measure that it's the same border distance all the way around. Do not go over your fold over here on your right. So since this is going to be covered, and I told you I was going to label these, this is front, back, left. So now we're going to cut the piece for the front right, the back of the front right one. I'm just going to take this piece of black paper that I had you just set aside. All I want you to do is measure it approximately 1/16 of an inch from the top and away from your crease. Oops. I'm going to make a little pencil mark where I'm going to cut it. So you can see I made it about 1/16 of an inch away on the right hand side. And then I'm only going to cut off, it looks like 1/8 at the bottom this time. I should have cut off only 1/8 at the bottom last time. So there's my little mark right there. And I got another one right there. I'm going to go cut off this piece first and then the little piece at the bottom. This is what I cut off. I am not keeping the sliver, but I am going to put this piece up in my stockpile, the other piece in the garbage. Once again, frame this out with your score tape on the back. This is how I put my score tape on, making sure that everything's down nice and snug. I'm going to pull the backing off of my score tape and get your album out. Make sure you place this on here evenly. Do not go over your fold on the left hand side here. Place it on nice and evenly. Be careful because underneath you have your clasp and you don't want to like bend your album all up. So be gentle. Front, back, right. Okay, open up your album all the way. You'll need a new piece of cardstock. Measure over 6 5/16 and cut. This is what you should have. Put the smaller piece over in your stockpile. Take this way, measure over 8 3/8 and cut. This is what I have. I'm going to throw that away. Score tape the back. Exactly the same. I'll come right back. This is how I score taped. Make sure again, we're going to do this every single time, so I'm not going to tell you anymore that you need to put your score tape down nice and snug and take it off. Backing is off. Pull your album over. Put this on evenly all the way around with the same border. Press it down nice and tight. Inside, back. Time for us to decorate. Been waiting for this all day. In your paper pad, I would like you to locate Penny. This is the back. This is the same stuff that we used on our cover. On the other side was Penny. And go ahead and cut the tab across the top off and throw it away. This is going to be a lot of fussy cutting. But what I want you to do is I just want you to cut right between. Do not cut into the clothes or anything. So cut right down between here. Just don't cut into this card. Okay? I'll show you mine and cut mine and be right back. This is what you should have. Go ahead and set this in your reserve for now. And we are going to cut Penny and all of her clothes out. So this is going to take a while. So I want you just to cut around all these pieces. And don't cut into this little Penny thing right here. We're going to use this. So just cut around it for now and save it. But cut out each of Penny's hats and clothes. Just briefly, I'm just going to show you how I'm going to cut some of this out, just so you know that I'm not going to cut into, I'm just cutting each piece out. And you could save those little flowers that are in between as well. We can use those later. There's Penny's bow. I'm going to save these flowers. So you can just see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting around everything and cutting it separate right now. I'm going to keep the little flowers. We are going to put magnets with these clothes, so that's why I said it really doesn't matter. You don't need to cut around the tabs. You can cut them off. But some of the other paper dolls, we are going to leave the tabs. Only Penny is going to be magnetized. And I want to save especially this piece that says Penny. For now, put everything that has flowers on the side. Okay, all of her clothes. She has 1, 2, 3, Put the dolly aside. There's 4 hats, 5 hats. Flowers can go with the dolly. 1 bow, penny, and 5 outfits. Now, we are going to keep the hats together and everything. So go ahead and, oh, there's 1 more flower next to penny. We want to cut this one out too. You don't have to leave a border. Just fussy cut right against all the clothing, and we'll get started. So just to show you where we're headed, I've not done cutting them all out, but I've cut out 1 piece of her clothing and one, and I have Penny cut out. On the back of Penny, I just put a magnet right in the middle of her body, okay? So how we can do this is that the reason why we have to have them cut out is because the only way we can place the magnets to make sure that the clothes fit on her and aren't too far up or too far down is that we have to cut each one out, put the magnet on the back of the clothing, then put it on the black paper and cut around the clothing. So back to my little magnet trick. Penny has a magnet on her back, so let's find Penny's matching magnet. My score tape, a tiny, tiny piece of my score tape. You're going to do this with each piece of clothing. I'm going to put a tiny piece of score tape on the top of my penny magnet. Take the score tape backing off. It's going to try to catch onto your craft knife, so be warned. Before you tack it down, make sure that the clothing is on Penny correctly, that Penny's arms are there, that it neck lines up. See? Now, the magnet's on the back. So watch. When you place her clothing on, it all fits right. So each piece is going to have to be cut out. Put a new magnet on the front of Penny to match the one on the back. When you get the magnet on here, if you want to, put a little piece of score tape across the back of it. That's how we can start to adhere it. We're going to make sure they all fit, but you're going to put it on black paper and then go around it again. So let's finish cutting out all of our clothes. Got a long ways to go. Okay, on each of Penny's hats, you're going to notice that there's a little dotted line. You need to take your craft knife and carefully cut kind of right above the dotted line. And I mean, you're kind of on it, but you're above it. And when you cut that little line, you're going to make sure it opens up. Okay, so you cut that little dotted line. Make sure it opens up. And that's how Penny puts her hats on. Okay? So each one of the hats that you cut out, you're going to do that with. I've only cut a couple of mine out so far, but let me show you. So we will have to leave Penny's head. I left the dotted lines on that one because I actually thought it was cute with this little beehive hat. And this little one with the ribbon, it has to go behind her. So we may end up having to cut that off because we can't leave Penny undone that far down. But we will have to leave Penny's head unglued down or we won't be able to put her hats on. So the only piece that I can't fit a magnet on the back of is going to be the little bow, even though it is adorable. We'll just have to place it someplace else. So I'm just going to set the little bow aside and I'm going to set Penny aside. All of these pieces of clothing, I'll have their magnet on the back and each one has been tested to make sure that it fits on Penny properly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue them just a safe distance apart so that I can back them with black and have the magnets between the black backing and the clothing. So go ahead and pull out a piece of black cardstock, lay out all your little pieces of clothing and adhere them with glue. Pull the backing off of your score tape and start placing them, and then we'll cut around those as well. Now in the beginning of the book you saw the finished album, so you already know how I'm going to do this. If you choose not to do the ones with the magnets and you want to do Penny like I do some, I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can actually put your paper dolls in the book. If you want Penny to be with the tabs, then you would have just cut these out with the tabs on them still, not put any magnets on anything. I would have backed them anyway maybe not the tabs, but I would have backed up all the clothing and put dots behind Penny when we place her in the album, and then you could use the tabs and put clothes on her that way. It'll work either way. So I choose to do the magnets for Penny, and I'll do the other ones the other way so you can see how I do those. I'm going to get these glued down. I've got everything glued down now. I'm going to go ahead and cut around them. I did, however, cut this piece off, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in my reserve. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut around these. So I took, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's thundering and lightning outside really, really loud. So, and that's my most unfavorite thing in the entire world. I took a little bit of my Memento black, and I just dabbed along the edges of each of these pieces after I cut them out, just to get any little white edges. It really sharpens everything up. So take a second if you'd like, and throw a little black ink around your edges. I took a piece of cardstock. It was this thin, long, skinny piece that we had in our reserve, and I glued it just to the back of Penny, just down to like her shoulders. Oh, it's just pouring outside. And I'm going to cut around it just to strengthen her head, because if we're not going to glue it down, we don't want her neck to break off from putting her hats on. So I'm just going to cut around Penny and then do a little inking as well. So I had to show you everything. They all cut out. Probably not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Go ahead and put Penny's clothes away along with Penny for just a moment. In your cardboard, let's see, let me try to remember what they called it. In your cardstock, Graphic 45 cardstock die cuts, you want to look for this little piece. It's going to be flat in there. You can pop it out. Fold. I got our hats out still, so I'm going to show you. Go ahead and fold over the left side. Fold over the right side. Take a little pocket part up. And we're going to put this little envelope together and put the hats inside of it. Don't think I can get any score tape on this little side, so I'm going to put some glue right here. Fold this over. Put a little clamp on it. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. I'll be right back. Alright, now that that's dry, I'm going to put some on the bottom piece. Let's glue on the bottom. Bring it up. Once again, I'm going to put a little clip on it to let it dry. In your paper pad, I want you to locate this green piece on one side. On the other side, it is all of Penny's friends. So we are going to use this side. I want you to go ahead and cut off the tab across the top and throw it away. So there's really not a lot to save on the other side. Sometimes, like I said, I try to measure to save things. So what I want you to do is turn it so that it's upside down. Measure over 8 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Go ahead and put this piece in your reserve and turn this one over and turn it this direction. Now I would like for you to measure over 3 1/8 and cut. This is what you should have. Keep the smaller one and just set this one aside. I had you set aside Penny and the flowers and the doll. I just want you to cut out the one with Penny. Let's save the doll and the other flowers for later. Okay, so we are going to put Penny on this small piece of green that we just cut out. And then I'm going to take the piece that I fussy cut with Penny's name on it and put it on a little piece of black and just leave a small black border around it. So I'm going to glue that down and fussy cut it out. And then on your sticker sheet, I want you to get one of these little circles. This little circle right up here, it's got the same little flowers. Take your little circle. First, we're going to glue. This is just a small piece of leftover cardstock I had. I'm just going to leave a tiny little border around this and around this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out and get them ready to put on. So I got those little pieces taken care of, and believe me, I don't know why I keep making myself cut out things that have circles. So with Penny, remember, I just secured her head a little bit more because of her hats. So I'm not going to be gluing her head down so we can put her little hats on her. But I am going to glue all down the sides of her body and down her feet and legs. I took the little score tape off. I'm going to stop right there and leave this alone. Okay, and I'm going to place Penny about center, well, as center as I can get her. Then Penny's little name tag that I just put black backing on. I'm going to place it down here in the bottom right corner, hopefully not on her feet, leaving a tiny little border right there. And then the little circle that I just cut out does have a stem. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little stem on the bottom. I'm just going to place it up here in this little circle in this little corner. Put some put some score tape on the back of this. I'll be right back. Score tape to frame. One down the center, 2 shorts on each side. I'm going to make sure that it's down nice and snug. Now we cannot place this piece in until we have finished the page that is next to it. So let me set this aside for a moment and show you what I'm talking about. In your album, let's get back over here just for now. Okay, page 3 is a little bit shorter than the rest of the pages. So we are not going to place Penny in here just yet, but this is where she's going to go. We're going to set her aside. Her score tape is ready to go. After we place page 3 in, we can place Penny across so that we make sure that it's even. So we're going to just set Penny aside. For right now, I'm going to just get a clip. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to clip Penny right there to keep her out of my way. Put my album away, and we're going to move on to this back cover, the front back right now. Okay, so I'm just going to set this away for now. I'll be right back. I had you set this piece aside. I'd like for you to measure over 6 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Go ahead and put this in your reserve. Turn, measure 8 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Put this in your reserve. This is going to be the back of the front right cover. Alright, so in your stockpile, I want you to locate a piece of cardstock that we have in there that's 8 1/4 by about 4 inches. Get out your EK Tools Stitchable Deep Edge Punch. Set your page aside for just a moment. And we're going to center this on here as best as you can. If you need to measure, by all means, go right ahead. And I just want you to punch right across the top of your paper. If you've never used a punch before, basically once you punch it, you just line up your either side that you pulled out right up with the punch marks on the side and punch again. And sometimes you miss like I did and have to go back and punch again. But the key is that you want to make sure you measure these up the best that you can so that they match, especially with these holes, because if you re-punch through the holes, it'll look kind of funky. So this is going to go on here as a pocket. Let's go ahead and get your score tape out. Put a piece of score tape right across the bottom of your green page. Do not go over the edges or off the bottom. Make sure your score tape is on secure and pull the backing off. Alright, we give it a little bit, and it has a little natural bend. Center it as best as you can. It looks like I have approximately 3 humps on both sides. Place it down, turn it over, fold over your edges, and I use a glue gun. Alright, we're going to go ahead and glue these down. I apologize for my glue gun. It's pretty gross, and you're going to probably get a little glue through those holes. If you're using regular glue, go ahead. Either way, I'm going to turn it back over. In your reserve, I would like you to locate this, a little piece of green that matches. And this is one of the sides that we took off earlier. I want you to find the one that has the horse, the buggy, and the bear. So set this one here for just a moment. Take this one and go and get your scallop, your redundant EK Tools 1/2 inch punch. And go ahead and take this green piece. And I want you to punch along the top of it. Okay, so we are going to take this piece and place it right up against the bottom of the polka dotted punch we just made. And ironically, it is exactly the same distance from both sides and gives me exact the border that I like. So go ahead and put glue on the back of this piece. I'll lay it down right below the polka dots, leaving the same distance border, which is about 1/16 of an inch on both sides with the black. I'll take this piece and we're going to have to do a little cutting. So let me zoom in a little bit. This will overlap the green, and we are going to have to slice off just a tiny bit on both sides. So leaving a 1/16 of an inch border, take your pencil and mark it so it's just exactly the same as the distance on the green piece we just laid down, and go ahead and slice off both sides. So I'm just going to go cut these little pieces off on each side. I'll be right back. These are the little pieces that I cut off. I'm going to go ahead and just put those in my tiny, I have two reserve piles. I call one my tiny reserve and one my large reserve. I have a lot of tiny little scraps in my tiny reserve, and you just never know. So this remeasure before you glue down should fit with the same border all the way around. Once again, I have very small borders. Keeping this page very simple, like I said, because of the extent of the next page that I'm going to have next to it. So you should have a pocket. Isn't that pretty? Go ahead and turn it over and put your score tape. We're going to frame all the way around, one down the center and a small one on each side of the centerpiece. And once again, we will have to set this one aside until page 1 is completed in, so that we can align it straight across from page 1. It is no different in these Gatefold albums, except that you have two sides that you have to align up instead of one. And we'll have to do the same with the back. Make sure that your score tape is down nice and snug. Do not pull it off. Once again, I'm going to get my album. This is going to be the page that will eventually go right over here. Once again, I have to have this page on to align it up. So for right now, I'm just going to clip it in. You don't have to. I just want it to be in its place so you can visually see. Oh, I can't zoom out very far. So you can see that those two pages are nice and simple, because Penny's closet's going to go right here. So I'm going to leave that alone. We have a place to put some big picture mats. Okay, so this page is going to take a while. This is Penny's closet. All those clothes that we fussy cut, they're going to go inside. So for the back of Penny's closet, we are going to use this beautiful piece of floral. On the other side, it has this kind of a peachy colored print. Go ahead and take the tab off, and I'll come right back. Just throw it away. Make sure that it is, of course, writing is in the right direction. Measure over 6 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Let's go ahead and turn it this direction, so your writing is facing this way on both pieces, and it doesn't really matter about the back. And we're going to measure over 8 inches and cut. Go ahead and put this in your reserve. We'll probably be using it, but I mean, I know we're going to use it, but we'll probably use it sooner. These are the two pieces you should have. This is going to be the back of the page, and we are going to cut this one right in the middle and set it aside with the back of the page. So take one of these pieces, and I want you to just cut it right down the center at 3 inches. Okay, this is what you should have. Take the two pieces you just cut right for the moment and set them aside. We're going to go ahead and get a pocket for this piece. So in your reserve, I would like for you to locate this piece. There are several of them. We are probably going to use all of them on this project. It's 8 1/4 by 4 inches. We are going to do the same thing. I'm just going to set this aside for a moment. Take the same punch we just used, and I want you to punch along the long side of this piece. Bring your back of Penny's closet down. Put a piece of score tape right along the bottom. Just exactly the same way we made that pocket a moment ago. Probably the hardest thing about making a paper doll binder or album is that you just want to fill it with paper dolls. And Shellie reassured me that it was a photo album, darn it, and that I had to make some pockets for you guys to put pictures in. So, I know, I'm no fun, huh? And put this on here evenly. Turn it over, fold down the excess across the back, and glue it down. We're about due for another glue stick. I've been babying it, trying not to. Alrighty. In your reserve, you should have one of these. We just put it in there. We are going to use the other one too, but it's not going to go anywhere between now and then. This piece should fit on here pretty much perfectly with a tiny little black border. Before we put this on here though, we are going to do the same thing as we did on the other page. I want you to take this little scallop, or redundant stamp. Just set this aside for just a moment. And I want you to punch the top of this along the long side. Take this and we are going to place it. We have sets of 4 dots from the top to the bottom. Of course, they're this way. I'm going to go up underneath of having just 2 dots showing. Turn, and you're going to measure. I'm just going to move this over so that you have your 1/16 of an inch border. Okay? And then we're just going to slice this little piece off. So this is what you should have. I'm going to go ahead and put this little piece up here in my, I call it my tiny reserve pile. Remeasure one more time before you glue anything down. And it looks like it fits very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this. Don't get it mixed up and put the wrong side down. Okay. Make sure your borders match all the way around. I am working with very tiny borders. That's something I do with a lot, and you're probably used to hear me saying it, but that's my preference. In your sticker pad, I would like for you to get this one out that matches the paper on the back. I'm going to get this one right here. And then I'm going to get a small piece of cardstock. Go ahead and grab any of your little cardstock that you want to use. And I'm going to back it with a little bit of black. Not a huge border, but I'm just going to punch it, put it on little pieces. This is just one of the pieces out of my reserve. Like I said, I hate to use it, but not always does everybody keep. I have a large pile of backup cardstock. I'm going to just slice right along the edge here and keep this piece. All right, so I'm going to put this larger piece up here in my cardstock and just go ahead and cut around this, leaving a small black border. I am forever trying to figure out why I insist on fussy cutting circles. Okay, so I cut that out. As you can see, it's got a little black border. I'm going to go ahead and put this up in my reserve, in my stockpile for later, because I'm quite sure that I will fussy cut something else out. I'm going to place this in the bottom left corner, and I am not going to glue the whole thing down. I'm going to just glue flour straight up, stem at the bottom. So turn it this way and put a little bit of glue right about there. Now look, you see this? Just flipped it straight up, and it's like 9 o'clock to midnight. I'm just going to place it right there. Let it dry for a second, and I'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to make Penny's closet doors. In your stockpile, you should find 2 pieces of cardstock that are the same size. These are all up from our pages, so they are all going to be basically 8 1/4 by 4. So we are going to score these, and you notice that I made a little mark here. This closet door has a brad closure on it, and so I don't want to forget to put my brad closure on before I glue down the outside of Penny's doors, and then that way I won't have to worry about it, okay? So get your scoreboard out. On this piece, which is the one with the brad, I want you to score at 3 inches and 3 1/4. And on this one, I want you to go at 3/4 and 1 inch. Okay? And let's go ahead and fold. By the way, we forgot to cut these down. That's my bad. These need to be 8 inches long, and I believe we need to cut off a tiny bit. So sorry about that. Take these, and I'll bet you they're just a tiny bit too long. Yeah, I need you to cut these to exactly 8 inches across. So measure over on these at 8 inches and cut them. Now this is what you should cut off. I'm sorry, I totally spaced on that until I put them up against my back and realized. Okay, so now once again, we've got these 2 facing each other, and we're going to get the stuff for the back. So these 2 pieces I had you set aside are going to go on the back of Penny's doors. Now we need to measure them to fit so that we have our little black border. Now, when you're measuring, set it right up against the second score. Do not go over the score. And we're just going to be cutting off like a 1/16 of an inch on the right, and maybe an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch off the bottom. If it makes it easier, I'm going to show you on this side just so you can see. And I'm going to leave a little border, and I'm going to cut off about an 1/8 of an inch on this side. And I'm just going to turn it over, and then over here, making sure that my top border is where I want it, I'm going to cut off about an 1/8 of an inch down here. So I'm going to do that on both of them. I'm just turning them over just to show you. I'm not leaving this side. I'm going to go trim these two pieces up. And this is what I cut off. One and the other. I am not keeping this, just showing you. I'm going to throw that away. Excuse me, remeasure to make sure. Do not glue these down. That one fits. Set those aside for just set them right there. In your reserve, locate your 8.5 by 4 3/4. Turn it this way. Measure over 4 1/4 and cut. Should have cut these perfectly in half. Take your first piece. Get out your redundant scallop punch. This is the 4 3/4 punch. Set that aside. We're going to use it again, so just keep it close. All right. Measure up the bottom of this and cut off a 1/2 inch. Okay, so just cut a 1/2 inch off the bottom. I'll be right back. Both pieces. You might as well do them at the same time. So just butt them up against the bottom. Don't worry that this one's not cut yet. Just butt them up. See? Make sure you're not cutting off your little piece. Just go ahead and cut both of these off at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to take these little tiny pieces and put them in my stockpile. So now we have 2 of these. Now grab the other piece that we just cut the 1/2 inch off the bottom. This one's already got the scallops on it. Put them on this piece. Might as well just do them all at the same time. Let's get Penny's clothes out of the way. All right, we can do these at the same time. So let's bring back over our cover pieces. Set your doors aside for a moment. Put score tape at the bottom of each of these. Don't go over the edge. Make sure it's on nice and snug. Take the backing off. Okay, take the first one. There's a natural bend already in it. Center it. Looks like I have about 2.5 scallops on each side. Same with this one. A natural bend. It goes up. Turn them over. Fold them over. Apparently I can't fold today. Glue them down.